Okay, so I'm picking up where I left off just a minute ago, talking about migraine that happened as a result. I'm pretty sure it was a direct result of the change in my hormones after I had a hysterectomy in 2012. Um, when I look back at the timeline of when my migraines started and how often they started to come about, um, it was definitely after that hysterectomy. I had some regular headaches and things that could be treated over the counter and stuff while I was going through infertility and treatment and things for that. However, actual migraine headaches, started after I had my partial hysterectomy in 2012. My doctor put me on estradiol, and she left one over in, and I got onto estradiol, and I started to have these more frequent headaches, and they were things that weren't able to be treated over the counter. I was taking ibuprofen, Aleve, Excedrin migraine. Occasionally, Excedrin migraine would work, but we're talking about headaches that would last 2-3 days a piece. Sometimes I'd get a couple or three of them in a week span. And I might be okay for a day or so, and then it would come back, and it was frustrating. I dealt with it for a long time, and I'm like, well, I mean, maybe it's just changing, maybe it's just you know just all of that. Why did I put up with it? I don't know. I didn't seek any kind of treatment until about 2 years ago now. So let's see. It's been 8 years. So I dealt with it for about 5 or 6 years before I was like, I really, why am I putting so many over the counter things into my body that just aren't working? And B, why am I just putting up with this? So my migraines are pretty much predominantly barometric pressure triggered. So when it's coming a storm, or if a cool front is coming, like it can rain a little bit and it doesn't bother me. It can be a rainstorm, but if the barometric pressure is going to shift in that, or there's a front, that's my trigger. And usually they start here, somewhere one side or the other. They'll start here, and then they'll wrap their way all the way around, and then it's just the entire, and it's usually one-sided. Oftentimes I'll have an aura like the day before, and auras are kind of hard to explain. It's almost like flashing halos of light, but yeah, I get that. Generally, I'll get that warning sign. And I did go, these have been about 4 or 5 years. I did try these earlier, both of the Doth piercings, to try to help. And it has lessened the right side migraines, but not my left side migraines. Those are generally my major trigger. So, I told my piercer, I was like, we're going to give it a shot. If it doesn't work, then I just have some cool piercings. But anyway, it really didn't help. So 2 years ago, I decided, right at 2 years ago now, to go to a neurologist, and I got a referral, and I went, and he was like, yep, it's migraine. All the same symptoms and everything. So he started me on something called Topamax, which is known as Topamax by a lot of people, because it's a seizure medication, but it can make you very forgetful, word droppy, and I'll still do that. I'll be thinking of a word and I can't come up with it, and it way made it worse. So for instance, if I want to think of a hummingbird, I might be like that buzzy little small bird, kind of, and then about 30 minutes or an hour later, I'll think of the word. I'm like, huh. But then he also gave me rizatriptan, which was a like prophylactic. If you start getting it, then you take it. I only take half a pill because with rizatriptan, it closes off these arteries that go in, or it narrows them. It's a what's the name of it? Anyway, it narrows the arteries that go into your head, and you may feel like that you're choking a little bit. So usually I take a half a pill at a time when I feel one coming on. So the problem with that Topamax was about a year ago now, I went back to him and I said, listen, I'm in my master's degree. I'm teaching. I am also in a program that is like a mentorship program for local high school students. I can't do this anymore. I would sit there and I would read a piece of our, like a passage for our homework, and I'd have to read it over and over and over, maybe 2-3 times to actually comprehend it. And that's not cool. That's not cool when you're trying to work on your master's degree. So he said, okay, well, what would you like to try? Sorry, motorcycle. Anyway, so I said, how about, I've heard of, and one of my coworkers was on Emgality. And he says, well, it's not got a great success rate, but I want to try you with it at the same time as something called Zonisimide. And I said, okay, sure. He said, Zonisimide hardly has any side effects. Emgality is not going to have a ton of side effects. Does have constipation sometimes. So anyway, I started them, and almost immediately, and one thing with the Topamax, I was still having a couple of migraines a week. So, it greatly lessened them, and it definitely greatly reduced how long they lasted. Now they only last less than a day, whereas they used to be 2 or 3 days at a time. But anyway, we got on them almost a year ago now. I noticed a definite change, but I was still having, I would get them. This spring, I started getting them again when the weather started shifting a couple times a week. So I reached out to Facebook because he said that the next option is going to be Botox shots up here on the forehead, sides of the face, the back of the neck, things like that. And it's like 40 injections. And with my insurance, somebody had an issue getting covered for that. So I reached out to my friends and said, hey guys, what should I do? And they said, somebody said, well, my son goes to a pediatric neurologist, and they prescribed a vitamin regimen. And this is vitamin D3, B complex, omega, magnesium, and potassium. And I said, I'm going to give it a shot because what have I got to lose? I'm already on D3, and the other stuff can only help my body in other ways, cholesterol and stuff like that. So I tried it, and it immediately made a difference. Immediately, I was down to like a couple of months. So this summer has been a little rough with the weather changing and stuff. So it comes and goes. But I have taken a 1 year free trial on the Zonisimide, the Emgality, which is about to expire, and the shots are like $600 a month. So if we get to where, I'm to my insurance premium or copay, and they're like, I may have to go back to him because, and ask him about the Botox. Because it's not completely reduced it, and just to kind of see what the insurance would be at. So I'm definitely much better than I was when I started going to him 2 years ago. They're definitely just like with the Topamax, definitely less on the duration of them, and fewer headaches a week still. So anyway, that is my migraine story. Some of this is all interconnected to immune system issues. And I know I've referred to that in my videos in the past. So I'm going to come back and talk to you guys about what's the latest on me going to the rheumatologist and um, where we're at with treatment. So anyway, I will stop this here. If you found me because you were looking up migraine and Emgality, I also did a video. It's a short video that if you want to see, nothing like no pictures of me actually doing it, but if you actually want to see as I'm doing the process of giving myself a shot, like I said, no gore. I'm going to upload that too. I wanted to show how easy it is to really use. So anyway, I'll be back to talk about my rheumatology experience in just a minute. Whew. Okay, bye.